I have been thinking about this a lot, and I think that I find it very helpful to see humanity as a whole as having limits, because then we get away from this medical model of disability where there's an imagined bar, and that bar, if you can reach it, you're somehow unlimited. But if you're below that bar, you lack, you are limited, and you must struggle to reach this bar of normalcy, essentially. And normalcy tends to be equated with not having any limits. So I find it really helpful to have an ontology of limitation, because it sort of, it cuts down these barriers between us and them, which are really harmful. But then in terms of overcoming the specific limit, I have just started wearing a sensor that checks my glucose without my having to prick my finger every time I want to check what my glucose is doing. And that's amazing. I can check it with my phone as I'm walking down the street. I don't have to stop and disinfect the end of my finger and make sure the blood doesn't drip everywhere. And, you know, this is a limit that I used to have, a very pragmatic limit in a sense, that if I needed to check my sugar, I needed to be able to wash my hands. So you can't check your sugar just anywhere. That limit is now gone for me. I can check my sugar anywhere I am. So I'm concerned with the point of view that would only want to affirm that we need to live within our limits and somehow accept all forms of limit as somehow this is how we were made, this is how we were created, and we shouldn't even want to overcome those limits. And I think that is often a discourse that we hear in Christianity, that somehow being made by God means that you can never change anything about yourself in that way. That's really harmful. So this grey space between overcoming specific limits but not wanting to eradicate limitness, which is what Creamer calls it, I think is a very fruitful space to inhabit.